Hockey Coaches Show, show number 3. My name is Kevin Kline. I'm the public address announcer for the Drury University hockey program. And with me, as usual, head coach Jeremy Law, assistant coach Cliff Cook. Welcome, guys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Even better to see you guys, especially at a 13-1 season record so far.
It's been fun, right?
This has been a blast, you know?
Yeah.
It really has. And I had an opportunity to announce and witness some D3, and it's such a different game from D1 to D3. The speed is more, the power is more, and it just, I don't know. Why is that? Because the kids are the same age. Why is that?
I think, obviously, this is a higher level. This is the more competitive athletes, I think, too, is a big proponent of that. But we got the guys that are, really serious about hockey, want to be here, want to get better, and I think that just kind of translates on the ice to a better quality of game for sure.
There's obviously, a good amount of talent, especially on our D3 team, guys that we had on our D2 team last year.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
the roster's pretty much the same roster.
But I think and we're kind of in a unique position over the last few years to kind of understand the difference between those three levels. We've seen it firsthand in Springfield now in 12 months.
Yeah.
And there's guys that were top-end guys at the D2 level that would crack Division I lineups for sure, maybe bottom end, some depending on the team higher end. But it's just the talent level. A lot of it comes down to where they played prior, what kind of coaching they got prior to get to that level. And some of it is just what's natural within them. And then there's the difference. I know for a fact on our Division III team, there's guys that compete hard. They mean very hard. But then there's other guys, especially on other teams that we've seen at the Division III level, where they're not really there they're just there to have a good time, basically.
Just continue their career.
Which, again, it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating for teammates. It can be frustrating for the team playing against those guys where they are there to compete. Like we have guys that want to battle. They want to compete. They want to win. And then you're going up against other teams that are just out there to hit to the brewery as soon as they can afterwards, and then they don't really care. So and that's a big difference. You don't have that at Division I. Everybody there is there every night to battle.
Well, let's turn our attention strictly to Division I. Going into the weekend against Oklahoma, you guys were ranked number 9. The last time we spoke, we were 26th, and now we're cracked the top 10.
Yeah.
OU was ranked number 8. We swept them. What's the difference between a number 9 ranking and a computer ranking of number 3? Explain that to me, please. Because it said a computer ranking is number 3, but the overall ranking was 9.
So I think that was the third week of computer ranking.
Oh,
so,
that's what
yeah.
that means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, my graphic might have confused you a little bit. Yeah.
A couple other people have asked me that, too.
Okay,
so,
I guess I got to switch that up.
I'm a simple guy, Cookie. I'm a very simple guy. So let's.
I won't make fun of Oklahoma State or anything right now.
Oh wow, we're gonna go there already, huh? Okay. Well, we can go there if you want because I'm so proud of you guys for taking out OU over the weekend.
I just set you up for that. That's all.
You
I was
certainly
doing.
did. Yes, as a former OSU student, it literally pained me this weekend to have to say anything with the letters O and U in name Sooners. So I didn't give them any sunshine, any love, and apparently people liked it because they were coming up to me at the end of the game saying that it was fun. But before we talk about this past weekend, let's talk about the 2 previous weekends where you guys were on the road and you swept Roosevelt 10-1 and 12-1. I got the answer to this question yesterday from Cookie, but why pour it on like that?
Well, we want to play our game and not take anyone for granted and just continue to get better. So I think there's no taking it easy on anyone in this league, and especially with the computer rankings, there's a goal differential thing, and we just want to keep playing our game and right from the start of the puck drop to the final buzzer. So there's no mercy in this game. So and if we were on the other side of it, then I would be like, hey, we got to work harder, we got to improve a lot of things, and so for me, I think a lot of coaches feel the same way. Is if you're going to get beat that bad, then you got a lot to work on. So,
and I'm a firm believer, and I may be in minority on this, that to me it's almost more disrespectful to let off the gas and just kind of go through the motions in a situation like that. We're trying to build to bigger and better things, and if we can take a situation like that to continue to improve, work on things, give guys opportunities that they may not have had because it's a good chance to see them in live action in those scenarios. So, and I've also said all the time, it's not our responsibility to play defense for the other team. So we're going to keep playing our game, do it respectfully. We're not, we got to a certain point where we weren't really celebrating goals much. We were just going back to the bench, going about our business. But, it's our job to keep pushing forward.
How difficult is it as a coach to keep a player engaged in a blowout like that?
Yeah, those games are tough to continue to have good habits because when you have a 7-8 goal lead, it's easy to do things that you shouldn't do. Like try to overhandle the puck or not dump it when you should, stuff like that. So it's constantly reminding the guys to play the game the right way, and it can be challenging. And usually, goalies hate those games. I know because not a lot of defense and everyone's trying to play offense. So. We try to play the right way the whole game.
Lozzie, you said something about goal differential. Cookie, explain that to me. How does goal differential play into rankings?
So our ranking system is based on the average of two computers. One computer is just straight wins and losses. Doesn't matter how bad you beat a team. It's just did you win, did you lose. The second one is based off a goal differential maximum of 7 goals. So, for example, the Roosevelt games. Big scores, but the computer only sees them as a 7-goal differential there.
Okay.
And so they take those two and average them out, and that's how we get to the rankings.
So you're riding high after Roosevelt, then you go and take on Davenport. I believe it was back-to-back 8-2 wins against Davenport.
4-2.
4-2.
Yep.
I was thinking about Iowa State for some reason. 4-2 wins. In that second game, there was something that I have never seen before. I saw the replay of it, and that is that our goaltender, Joey Kachazlo, just got trucked. Can you explain what happened on that play?
Yeah, it's. To start off with, I'm all about physical hockey, but there are certain plays that we're all trying to get out of the game. And I would say, yes, we're trying to get out of the game. It's a rare occurrence that something like that happens, but it happened. Their puck got sent into our zone. Their player had lost his stick at this point, but still went on the attack. We don't know what his plan was had he got to the puck at that point because he's not kicking it into the net, obviously. Why he didn't just turn and go off, he's all by his own. Well, it was clear what his path was, and that was to take out Joe. And no stick or anything, he just steamrolled Joe. Started a melee in the corner. Our guys, I thought, handled it the way you would expect them to, and how we would hope they would stand up for any teammate, especially our goaltenders, because our 3 goaltenders are our lifeblood of this team. Yeah, it was our guys took care of it the right way, and I have to say, very appreciative of how Davenport's coach, Phil Sweeney, handled the situation, his whole team. We were getting apologies even as the melee's happening in the corner from teammates of the player who did it, including their goaltender apologizing for his actions before the thing had even settled. So hats off to how their program handled the situation, and then obviously hats off to Josh Robbins, who came in and played phenomenal after that and got the win.
Yeah. The other thing that you mentioned, though, was that you were proud of the way our boys handled it. Yeah. Obviously, you love when your athletes stick up for each other. O'Rourke ends up getting a DQ. You said well-deserved, though. You said you were okay with that.
Well, you never want a guy to get suspended, but at the same time, you want to stick up for your teammates. So we didn't have a problem with what he did. We tried to argue the fact that maybe it should have just been for that game. But it is what it is. He had to do what he had to do, and that's stick up for a teammate. So,
and he came back and made his presence known last evening with a goal against OU.
Absolutely.
A very important goal,
by
by the way.
Yeah, big goal, make it 3-2 there.
Yeah.
So
That guy kills me, man, because I saw him separate his shoulder in a big hit against I think it was Iowa State. He's always a very physical player, but the kid should change numbers with Cedric because he is a number 2 pencil.
Oh yeah, he's what 6'3", 6'4", and about a $105, I think. And
yeah,
that's with his gear on.
Yeah. But he gives it his all, man.
Yeah.
And he's out there and he's playing physical, and it's really. Guys, I am so blessed to be in this position to announce your games and to be able to watch them from the box where I'm at because it is such a dynamic program. It's such a dynamic product that you guys put out there. It's so much fun, and I just thank you for bringing me aboard.
Oh, we love having you.
Yeah, we love having you. So you and Trish have been a huge blessing to our program. So
yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So we go back now to Friday and Saturday of this week. Number 8, OU. comes in and plays against our Drury University Panthers, and we ended up taking them out in both games. Friday night, Lawsy, you and I were talking about the game, and I got zero sleep the night before. All right, and I'm not playing. I'm just excited about the game. And you told me something very interesting. As the head coach, you said, this is like the first time that I've gotten the same feeling of when I was a player. So what is it about a game like that that brings out those emotions?
Well, I think for me, just knowing that this was going to be our first real big test against another top 10 opponent. So, we played really good hockey, but we haven't really been tested against one of the premier teams. So I felt like, nerves a little bit and just exciting and, knowing what I think we're capable of, but then actually, seeing it is two different things. So I was nervous but excited and just ready to see what we could do against that team. So
one thing that I was very, I don't know if surprised is the word, but very thankful for, situations like that, especially we haven't played at home in a while, and now we're playing a top 10 team ranked just ahead of us. It's very easy for our guys to let the emotions get the best of them in a scenario like that. I thought we came out level-headed, playing good hockey, and we kept the discipline intact. The second period on Friday wasn't our best, but we still performed pretty well. But, hats off to these guys for understanding the moment and staying in the moment and not letting the emotions and the good crowd we had on Friday night get the better of them.
Well, guys, I got to see each player walk into the locker room, through the tunnel there. Every single one of them was smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked like they were the most relaxed folks in the entire arena.
Yeah.
And it showed on the ice.
yeah. So and I would say too, in our 14 games so far, Friday night, our first period was the best hockey we played all year.
So that brings up the question then, how close to our full capability are we playing right now?
We're not even close.
I knew he was going to say that.
Not even close.
I knew he was going to say that because here's what Cliff said to me, Cookie said to me after the game on Friday and before the game on Saturday. I'm like, man, we outplayed them so much. And he goes, yeah, and it should have been 5-1.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, we won. A win's a win.
Well, I mean, here's one example. It's hard, well, maybe not hard for us, hard for on the outside looking in to find negatives in a 13-1, 11 straight, I think it is. But there are some, and one, we talked about a lot in practice. Our power play is not great right now. I mean, we're 21% or something. We should be well into the 30s. On the flip side of that, our penalty kill, as of last night, I checked, we've been just about 2 or 3 in the country. We are now number 1 in the country, even giving up only our second PK goal of the year last night. We are officially number 1 in the country, just under 98%, which is just, even for us who've been doing this a long time, it's just mind-boggling to me. But there are things we have a lot of work still to do. Power play is one of them, and there's no reason. The guys will tell you. I mean, on paper we should be going at 40-50% with the talent we have. We're just not quite finding those holes yet, but we will. And that's, as coaches, we always have things we want to work on. 13-1 is great. 14-0 would be better.
Yeah.
So.
And even at 14-0, you're still going to find something because
Absolutely.
If you don't find something, then you become complacent.
Sure.
Yeah. And the other teams aren't going to be complacent. The other teams are coming after you. You got a bullseye on you now.
I said that I did another podcast a couple weeks ago, and we talked to the players about it. It's like we had talked early on about maybe flying under the radar early. We're fine with that. Even when the coaches' polls started coming out, we weren't getting the love that we knew we deserved, but that was fine. There's no under the radar anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't hide. We can't hide what we have anymore. The word is out. So, Target is now on our back, even as a first-year Division I program. There's just no escaping it.
So let's talk about the Saturday evening game at the Brightspeed Ice Park, Stan Melton Arena against OU. They go up 2-0 on their first 2 shots. I look over at the bench. I see both of you guys as calm as can be. What is the difference between a hockey coach being so calm and a football coach that just goes haywire? I mean, you're both dealing with a very physical game. You're both dealing with wins and losses, very important stuff. But you guys are just calm as can be over there. Why? How?
I think for me, it was so early, and I knew we were actually didn't play bad. Just a couple bad bounces. I think Joe would want to get those ones back, but I still felt like we were going to control the game, and we had enough game left to come back. So.
Well, you were already out shooting them by about 9 shots. I think you were 11-2 at that point.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and again, we know what we have. Going down that early, we've been down, I think we figured out 5 times this year, which even saying that out loud when we played 14 games, we've only been down 5 times is pretty exciting to say, but we've been there. We've had to battle back. We were down both times in Davenport and came back. So we know what we have in our locker room. We know the character of the guys. They weren't happy. They weren't, but we were all, again, we stayed disciplined. We stayed calm. We've talked about it in podcasts before, penalties being an issue in our building. Friday night in the third period was a bit of an issue, but again, our penalty kill came through. Yesterday, I think we only had, 2 penalties? 2 penalties in our own barn. I mean, and that's been us all year, really. On the road, we don't take many penalties. So we stayed disciplined, not just in that scenario, but within our systems. We stayed structured, stayed positive on the bench no matter what was going on. And, we knew the result could be a lot better once we kind of settled in and got past that for early part of the game.
Well, I have the utmost confidence. I mean, as the PA announcer, I'm sitting there and I'm like, there is not a single team in this country that's going to shut out the Drury Panthers.
Well,
you're so balanced in scoring.
Yeah, and being down early is a lot better than being down late. So
Absolutely.
We had a lot of game left, and I knew if we just kind of chipped away, we'd get there. So
I got to speak with our play-by-play guy, Steve Casson, in between the first and second period, and I'm like, but we're just out shooting them. And he goes, yeah, but they're not quality shots. He says they're goalies being able to see all of these. What's the difference between a quality shot and a non-quality shot?
Well, one of the things we even stressed before the game started was getting traffic in front of the net, taking away the goaltender's eyes. During training camp this year, one of the things Jeremy and I commented on, because we didn't have this in the past, is we've got a lot of guys that are very good at tipping pucks in front of the net and redirecting pucks in front of the net. We haven't done it much once the game started. Friday night, we had a beautiful goal off a tip in, and if we can just get to the net more, that creates opportunities for quality shots because the goaltender's not seeing things. Jeremy showed a great video before the game last night, in fact, about that very thing, taking away the goaltender's eyes and allowing our shooters to get things done. We've got an entire team of guys who can put the puck in the net, but we're also playing against quality goaltending. We have the best goaltending in the league as far as we're concerned, but we're still playing. I mean, OU's goaltending is a strength for them. Culbertson Bond, I've known about him for years. Great goaltender. The young man that played Saturday night. Yeah, I don't know him very well, but he played well. Mm-hmm. I would argue a little bit to Steve about the quality of our shots. I think that's taking some credit away from him. I thought we had some great opportunities, and he made big saves. One thing we did not do the best job of was second and third opportunities. We were kind of one shot and done. And that's something, again, always looking for things to improve on no matter what your record is. That's one we've got to improve on.
Yeah, that's a big focus for us at practice and when we do drills is to get more traffic to the net and then finding those rebounds. So
traffic in front of the net is a big deal because it blocks the goaltender's view. In a shootout, though, there's no traffic in front of the net. In soccer, I think the kicker has the advantage over the goaltender because the goal's so wide. Who has the advantage in shootouts, which is where we went on Saturday evening, tied 3-3 after overtime?
I want to say the goaltender is around 60% advantage, just looking at NHL stats, and I'll maybe ask our guys, but I think it's above 50-50 for the goaltender in a one-on-one shootout.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think goaltenders have an advantage. It may not be the biggest advantage in the world, but I do think, especially comparatively, like you said, to soccer for sure. Yeah. But I think the goaltenders, which is why shootouts are so difficult for shooters and for goaltenders. There's such a narrow gap of success on both ends.
Well, yeah, and we saw it last night. A couple saves by Kuchazlo, saved by their young man. One of the things that struck me in the shootout, though, was how lightning fast KT Walter's shot was. That thing was a blistering wrist shot. What is the difference between a very quick shot like that and a very powerful slap shot by, like, say, Al McInnes? I'm dating myself, I know. But where does the strength and the speed come from? Is it the same place?
Well, I think it's all with the release. So a slap shot you see coming from a mile away because it's a big windup. But like KT's shot, a little snapshot like that, it was just a super quick release and then obviously a hard shot. So the goalie has way less time to react to that. So
I thought Francis had a great slap shot for the point. I think it was in the third period last night. It was a really pretty slap shot, right at the keeper, but still a really pretty deal.
Yeah, and one of the things we stress, and I do this a lot when we, in practice when we split up the forward and D, is that quick release. Even from the defenseman, we don't need the big bomb shots from the point. Now, obviously, we got a bunch of guys that can bring it with some speed, but more importantly for me, and I think goaltenders will tell you this is the hardest part for them, is the guys who can get it off their stick in a hurry. In a real hurry. You look at the best goal scorers in the NHL right now, yes, they can rip it really hard, but more than that, they can get rid of it in a hurry. Connor Bedard's a prime example. For all the skill he's got, probably the biggest thing he's got is one of the quickest releases, I think, in NHL history.
A couple of other players I want to talk about by name. The captain, Jake Howley. First few games, kind of on the score sheet anyway, kind of a non-factor. The kid has woken up. What's different about his game right now?
Yeah, he's obviously our captain by choice, and he just leads by example. So he's just such a hard-working player for us, and plays the game the right way. So it's kind of a 200-foot player, really good on the back check and in the D zone, and then also contributes offensively. So
200-foot player means he plays from one end of the rink to the other end of the rink. And I talked about that being a highlight of his, to me anyway, in the last home game before OU. The same thing happened in Cookie. You and I actually talked about this already. I was blown away in the third period of Friday night's game. It was Levi had a pass intercepted in the attacking blue zone. They came back the other way, had a 2-on-1. Levi ended up disrupting the play and checking the guy that intercepted the pass. How do you can't teach heart like that?
Well, you can't teach the speed either.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say this, now that, and you're going to have Jamison St. Clair on here shortly, but now that he's back playing D right now and Levi's his partner, that might be the fastest pairing in the country for defensemen. Both those guys can absolutely fly.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Jamison about that.
And it creates havoc for defensemen or for forwards on the other end, because they can blow past the guy, and even if there's a turnover, they both have the speed to recover and get back in time to take care of business. And it's a lethal weapon, that speed, for sure. And we got a lot of guys with a lot of speed. Those two are kind of, even amongst a team that's very fast, they're kind of on the next level even.
Well, it's really fun to watch. It's a reason why I have every confidence, no matter what the score is, that we're going to come back, that we're going to hold serve at home, which we are holding serve at home right now. Last year, wins were hard to come by at the old Brightspeed Arena, Sam Melton Rink, but now we're 8-0. 8-0 at home now?
I think it's 6.
6-0.
6, yeah.
Soon to be 8-0.
There you go.
There you go.
Hope so.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for segment number 1. It's been fantastic. Congratulations on the success so far. We are going to introduce you to 2 of the players, one that we just spoke about, Jamison St. Clair, and we're also going to bring on Daniel Beaupre in our next segment as we continue the Coaches Show from Hold Fast Brewing on the Drury Radio Network.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
The Drury YouTube Network. We're back on the Coaches Show here at Hold Fast Brewing. Drury University men's hockey Division I program, 13-1, ranked 9th in the country, probably going to be going up in the rankings after sweeping number 8 OU over the weekend at the Stan Melton Ice Rink, Brightspeed Ice Park. And 2 of the players that played pivotal roles in both of those games join us right now. Number 7, Jamison St. Clair. Number 8, Daniel Beaupre. Welcome, guys.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, man, awesome to have you guys. So, Daniel, you are an assist machine.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to set up the guys, but definitely want to add a couple goals as well. So.
Well, you've got a couple goals this season, but I mean, your assists, and even through juniors, I mean, your assist rate was massively high. So, what is it about your game that you're able to see your players on the ice, your teammates on the ice so well?
I think I've always been a pass first guy for sure, and then just throughout juniors, my coaches really emphasized making that extra pass. When we play a good goalie, the goalies these days are so good at just like seeing the straight up shots and saving those, and you kind of want to maybe pass it over so you get it moving, and then your teammates got a better chance to score.
Kind of sounds like a Ted Lasso sort of. Take the extra pass, Danny Rojas. Take the extra
Yeah.
pass. Yeah. So, Jamison, you heard Coach Cook say that you and Levi, two of the fastest skaters, well, definitely on the team. But he actually told me something behind the scenes the other day. He said, "I'll put Jamison St. Clair up against anybody in a skate race." He goes, "I think he might be the fastest in the league."
Yeah, I've worked hard to be where I am, and it's nice to hear and get recognition for what I do good.
Where does speed come from in ice hockey?
I would say it's a lot of technique. I grew up in Minnesota. 90% of my free time was at the rink. If not actually playing hockey, then just skating around with my friends. And the culture up there is just hockey, 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 and there's really nothing else you can do. Like, you go on the lake in the middle of winter and it's ice fishing and skating. So, just with all the time, I think it builds up pretty quickly, and when you have good coaches, it's all the better.
Oh, you talk about growing up in Minnesota, Aitkin, Minnesota. It's due north of Minneapolis, not very far away from Brainerd. Have you seen Fargo?
I have. I've played there a lot.
So you are one of only 3 U.S. players on the team. How do you deal with the foreign language barrier?
Honestly, I wouldn't even say there's like a big language barrier. I don't know. Personally, I don't think there's that much of a difference.
Yeah?
To me, all the guys talk pretty normal.
You get the boots, you get the toque sometimes, sometimes I need to have an interpreter when I'm talking to some Canadian players. So maybe I can look to you, Jamison, so you can be my interpreter next time.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Daniel, you're from North Vancouver, although I did see on one website that they credit you as being from Edmonton.
Yeah, I was actually born in Edmonton, and I moved around a lot when I was a kid, but we kind of settled down in Vancouver, so it's kind of my hometown now, I would say.
Yeah?
But yeah, I was born in Edmonton.
So then are you an Oiler fan or a Canuck fan?
I'm actually a Penguins fan.
Actually a Penguins fan?
Yeah, but my whole family is Oilers fans, but growing up, I just loved Crosby and watching him play, so.
So is that your all-time favorite player?
Yeah,
And
for
you,
sure.
Jamison, who's your favorite NHL player?
Oh boy, probably Ovechkin.
Yeah?
Just because the way he plays the game and how he's developed over the years. I think that was pretty cool.
Well, and both of you have chosen players that have longevity, very, very long careers in the NHL. So is that something that you guys look to emulate for them to, beyond Drury, continue your career?
Yeah, I'd definitely want to play as long as I can, and I think what they do is pretty impressive into their age. Probably won't be able to do that myself, but yeah, it's definitely something that I like about their game.
What's your favorite aspect of the Drury University team, Daniel?
I think just playing at home in front of the fans, it's pretty cool. In the student section, they get pretty wild, so that gives you a lot of energy to play.
Yeah, but the one night they got so loud it caused a 20-minute delay because they were banging on the glass so much.
Yeah, they took the glass down. That was pretty funny to see.
Jameson, your favorite part of Drury hockey?
Honestly, I would have to say the same thing. The support system here is crazy. When I first came in, I knew it was gonna, be a bit different, and we would have a lot of support, but I didn't quite expect this much.
So when you guys go down 2-0 against Oklahoma the other night, what's the mood in the locker room between periods 1 and 2?
I'll take this one. We were definitely a bit down. It's not a spot we've really been in too often this year, and I think we were a bit frustrated. We felt we were playing good and we were dominating them on the shot clock, and we were just a bit frustrated. But we kind of rallied together, and we got 2 in the second there, and then after that we just got going from there.
Yeah, I thought when you guys got the first goal in the second that game on, that you guys actually got even more energy after you got that one, and it was almost like that first goal was the equalizer. Even though on the scoreboard they're still up 2-1, that first goal was like the equalizer. So how much confidence did you guys have going into the third period after you tied it up 2-2?
Well, to be honest, I don't think we ever lost our confidence.
Yeah.
I think especially guys that score like Rourke's and Joe, they all know how good they are, and we all expect them to lead and score. So I don't think we ever really had a doubt. It was just more of a
Bide our time. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. Yeah. Because like I was telling Cookie and Lawsy, there's nobody that's going to shut you guys out. From the drop of the puck, you guys are in the game. I don't care if you're playing number one in the country or, it's just so exciting to know that every time you step on the ice, the chances of winning are really, really good. Really, really good. So what do you see for the rest of the season? You guys got a couple road games coming up on December 6th, and then you're off until January. What will you do in that downtime?
Probably gonna go home and relax.
Yeah.
Gonna bring my gear and skate just to try and keep up with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we'll be right back at it, ready to go.
Love hearing it.
Yeah, I'll probably spend time with my family, celebrate Christmas, do all the fun things, see some guys from back home that also have played college hockey, maybe skate with them a little bit, and come back, get right back at it.
Perfect. Well, guys, it's a blast to be able to watch your games. It's even more fun to be able to say your names and introduce you guys and, talk about the assists and the goals. So keep it up, and thank you for joining us today, and continued success.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Daniel Beaupre, Jamison St. Clair, number 7 and number 8 on your roster. We are doing the Coaches Show at Hold Fast Brewing, Coaches Show number 3. We'll be back to wrap this up in segment number 3 with assistant coach Cliff Cook. We're going to talk about the upcoming schedule, how you can see your number 9, but moving up, Drury University Panthers D1 hockey program, coming up next. We're back for segment 3 of the Coaches Show here at Hold Fast Brewing. I'm Kevin Kline, public address announcer for the Drury men's hockey program. Upcoming games, assistant coach Cliff Cook joins me for this final segment. We've got November 22nd and 23rd. You guys are on the road, taking on McKendree. What can you tell us about McKendree?
I think they're better than their record, for sure. They've been dealing with a bit of an injury bug all year with their goaltending. I think at some point this year, all 3 of their goaltenders have been injured, including a former goaltender of ours last year, Grayson Skirpin, who I was told. I was told last night he might be injured right now as well. So it looks like we're not going to get a chance to see him next weekend. I'm sure he was chomping at the bit for that. So we'll see. But they're getting better. They're a team that went through kind of a downtime, but they've got new coaching staff, and they're building. And I think they're a team to watch out for in the future for sure. They're going to work hard, just like every team we've played. So we've said it over and again, it's cliche in sports, can't take anybody for granted. We won't take them for granted no matter what their record is or their ranking.
Leads me to my next question, because then we take on Iowa State at Iowa State on December 6th and 7th. We've already beaten them twice. 8-2 identical scores. How do we not have a lapse?
Again, it's staying focused to the long-term goal. The long-term goal, not only trying to keep the winning streak alive, but the long-term goal of keeping our ranking as high as we can and looking ahead to what could be, a good seeding potentially. And I think it's safe for us to, you always question whether I should talk about nationals this early in the season, but I think we're in a spot now with the rankings we can at least kind of think about that a little bit without getting ahead of ourselves. The higher up in the rankings we get a bit, the better seeding we get once March hits. But by the way, you brought up an interesting, I don't know if you've noticed this fact. This weekend it didn't really happen, but we have had, I believe it's 3 weekends this year where we had the exact same score in both games.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah.
4-2, 8-2, and 4-3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Weird scenario.
That is a weird scenario. But the beautiful thing about that? We have
want
the
'em.
higher numbers.
Yeah, we want them.
That's right.
We'll take it.
Okay, so then after December 6th and 7th, you guys are off until mid-January.
Yeah, it's an interesting, a lot of our guys won't be used to that. In college, you have the big break. When these guys all played juniors, when I was coaching juniors and Jeremy's coaching juniors, you're lucky to get a week, maybe 2 weeks off over the holidays. In fact, there's a lot of times, my last year coaching in Missoula, Montana in the North American 3 Hockey League, I actually scheduled a New Year's Eve game, so our guys were back even earlier. So guys aren't used to the long break. I think they're going to probably enjoy it, although at the same time, you're just chomping at the bit to get back on the ice. So we see it as a positive. Not just guys can get healthy, guys can get rest, they can go kind of regroup and come back fresh. But in all the years that Jeremy's been doing this, which is now 8 years, this is my 5th year at this level. One thing we have discovered is that first week back, it's like an all new training camp, and the energy level is through the roof. It feels like we're starting the season again, and it's a really good time of year for guys to get excited to get back at it.
Well, then that's a scary proposition for January 10th and 11th with Waldorf coming here to play at Brightspeed Ice Park, Stan Melton Arena. What's Waldorf bring to the table?
Similar thing. They're a good team. They're getting better and better. They've had some quality games this year. They are definitely better than their record. They play against, the conference they're in, they're playing against the best teams in the country all the time. Minot, Jamestown, Mary, all those. They're in the same conference. So they're a really solid team. We're going to have our hands full with them for sure.
Well, we look forward to it, and you can get tickets for that before the game starts on January 10th, which is Friday night. That'll be a 7 o'clock start, so tickets can be purchased at 5:30. And then also on the 11th, Saturday night, the tickets go on sale at 4:30 for a 6 o'clock game.
And actually, that weekend, the Saturday game is a special matinee.
Oh, it is?
It'll be a 2 o'clock start. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I would tell everybody, stay tuned to our social medias for all that. But Waldorf asked if we could do an earlier game, and we were able to accommodate that. It helps the road team get on the road a little quicker. So
absolutely,
that'll be a 2 o'clock start against Waldorf that January weekend.
Very good, and we will update you on the Facebook page, on the Instagram page, and the away games. You can check them out at websportsradio.com. WSR.
Well, the away games, no.
No. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no. In fact, McKendree next weekend will be on an app. It should be free. The GLVC conference network has an app available on, obviously on computer, but on most Rokus and Apple TVs and all that. So just look for the GLVC conference app, and you'll be able to watch the McKendree games. Iowa State, I'm not 100% sure right now. Again, we'll have that all posted on social media. I don't recall if they're YouTube or if they use a separate app as well.
Well, I've got an idea for Iowa State. It's not that far of a drive, and it's actually a beautiful drive to drive up to Ames, Iowa. Just let's road trip it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No?
Beautiful drive. I went to Iowa State briefly. I don't know how beautiful a drive that is.
Well, you get to go to the bridges in Madison County.
There's nothing in Ames. There's probably a reason I didn't last very long. I got bored and did stuff I shouldn't have done and had to leave. Yeah, I know all about Ames. Yeah. No love lost there for me, that's for sure.
Well,
it's like you and OU, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? It's not a bad idea to travel well, and if we can get a group of people to go on up there, let's make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got such great support here, and hopefully it continues to grow. I was just talking to the guys too. Key for us right now as far as home games is getting the local support, not just the campus, but if we can get more of the local support, which we're building, obviously, that'll be key. Friday night games, we're fairly confident we'll get the students there. We'll get the big crowds on Fridays. It's the Saturday night games we really want to build up, and that comes down mainly from our experience at Missouri State to the local community. Those are the ones that are going to come out. It's one of the reasons why, even in our time at Missouri State, and we've carried it over here, is switching to those 6 o'clock times. The earlier time allows families to come so the kids aren't out too late, allows, older couples that want to go have a few beverages after, they're not out too late. So, we're pushing hard for the local community, trying to do our best to get the word out, and I think word's getting out right now.
I think so, too. Our Saturday crowds are good.
Yeah.
Friday night is just absolutely berserk. It's awesome, and it's a great atmosphere. Cookie, what you and Jeremy have done in the 2 years leading the Drury program, it's just, I'm in awe of what you guys have done. It's phenomenal, and it's so much fun to watch.
Well, these guys putting the jersey on are the ones doing the work. We got them here. Once they're here, it's up for these guys to do it, and they're doing it. I mean, we've got such an amazing group in the locker room this year. They're all pulling for each other. As we've talked about, there's guys that have different roles than they've probably ever had in their careers, and they've stayed positive. They've stayed great teammates, and you can't have the success we're having right now without everybody pulling on the same rope, no matter what their role is. You mentioned Jacob Hawley earlier. He's no longer on the power play, but I think it's taken some stress off of him. He can just play his game, doesn't have to worry about extra things. And there's a lot of guys like that, you know, making sacrifices compared to what their role was on previous teams. And without that, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah, well, it is a team game, and it's great to see.
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing me on. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. Have a great time up in McKendree. Have a great time up in Iowa State.
Ames,
Yeah, and then we'll bring it back for Waldorf. Ames. Thank you so much for joining us for the Coaches Show at Hold Fast Brewing. Again, you can go to the Drury University website, check out the hockey team's webpage, get all the information there, or an even easier way, follow the hockey team on Instagram or Facebook. Coach Cookie does a great job of updating the stats, updating the games, and also giving you the upcoming schedule. We will see you back home January 10th, Stan Melton Ice Rink, the Brightspeed Ice Park, as Waldorf comes to town to take on your Drury University Panthers.
Hey!